who did I have on? I had Phil Clayhar and Tonio Burton on. I think we talked like 36 minutes before I started recording because like we were just shooting it, waiting for a guy. I felt so bad because then it only turned into like an hour and a half, and I like to get to 2 hours, but lately I've noticed that like the retention.
It's also better just to have content you can go through and
if you look, what I'll do with this video for the next until I record my next one, every day I'll come out with a highlight video. So over my lunch hour, when I'm at work, I'll just close my door and open up my personal computer and just knock out some edits and put up a highlight. Yeah, it's just I've been watching a lot of. Do you watch Your Mom's House with Tom Segura?
Do I watch My Mom's House?
Yeah, with with Tom Segura.
Oh, it's a show.
It's a podcast. Yeah. Do I watch My Mom's House?
I was like, man. I might have, dude. I'm so bad with names. Someone was like, "Have you seen it like this by so and so with so and so and so and so?" And I'm like, "What?" Then they'll show me like a picture of those. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I've seen that like 100 times."
Yeah. So like Tom Segura and Burt Krisher.
Okay, well, Burt. Okay, yeah, I've definitely seen that one.
Yeah, the machine. Yeah. So
I'm the machine.
I'm the machine, and then takes his shirt off.
Dude, he is so funny. So I think I've seen that show because I've seen some clips. Like,
so this is Tom.
Oh yeah.
Okay, really popular comedian.
He's hilarious, dude.
Yeah. Ooh, look at that baby face one. That's a good one.
He looks like a
guy that would work at Dairy Queen. And tell you the ice cream machine's broken.
Hitting puberty at like 28.
Yeah. But I was we were talking about smoking, and I just thought it was funny. I remember I had a story I tell every once in a while when I was in basic training way back when I first joined the Army.
Military guy.
Yeah. That's why I have this Army? Ugly. Yeah, Army. Yep.
You were Army. You were like the old school original, no specialty, no Marines, no
basic. Yeah. Like no. I'm just basic IT guy. Been doing it for.
Well, you're still years. In it, eh?
Yeah. I'm full time.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, so I just got off work, changed, didn't even put pants on, threw a polo on, and good to go.
No, dude, listen. Same thing with here in Canada. Like, if you invest a career into the military, kickbacks, in terms of education, education for free. In a lot of cases too, like I've got different friends. One of my closer friends, he was military police locally, so he would be like on base at the Navy base in Halifax, just as like military police there for just dealing with the guys and stuff like that. But then he went on a couple tours to Iraq. Dude, the money. So you're away, of course, you're trading your time, but this isn't the same kind of deployments that like you guys would have had in the Iraq war and stuff like that. This is like military police guy going to basically look after like prisoners or certain things with the Canadian Armed Forces. You basically sit on your ass all day in like 65-degree heat. Yeah. They'll pay you like, $70,000-$80,000 for like 4 months. And then when you're done, they give you 3 weeks off and a $5,000 budget. So like you can go anywhere in the world, take a vacation, and then they give you $5,000 of spending money.
Really? For the Canadians?
Yeah, and that's like based on like doing a tour, right? Like it's kind of like you put so much time in, they give you a compensation, right? And then it's like, you get home and it's like tax free too. Like they'll pay you tax free,
same,
right? So you get paid like on tours, they're not going to take any tax off it. So it's like, yeah, it's pretty good. If that's what you want to do, it's worth your time, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, when you talk about like deployments, most of the time you don't even get the decision. Like it's not your choice. Jason Lowe in the house.
Jason? What's up?
I actually invited him this time.
Yeah, exactly. I actually got the invite.
Oh man. Yeah. Last time we did a podcast for I think it was the Tampa preview. I forgot to send Jason the Zoom invite, and he sat there for over an hour. So
I was doing work on my phone. That's I was sitting here.
I'm hoping he was doing something
like,
besides TikTok.
I was like, I figured you got the time zones wrong or something, so I just figured I'd sit here and wait. While I was waiting.
Did you just see the photos that Daniel just posted of Cody on Bodybuilders No Border?
Oh no, Cody's looking crazy,
dude. Cody looks awesome.
Like the one thing about Cody, and it's like you'll see this with a lot of guys. I mean, it's not uncommon, but like with last week, was it last week? Did Tampa?
Yeah, I think third.
Like look at how much more like rested his physique looks just from the extra week. Because like it's like going into Tampa, he's coming from being completely depleted for like weeks and weeks and weeks, right? And then fills out for the show, and he didn't really like fill out. Like he was like the conditioning, he was dry, but then it's like now, rebounding a little bit from the show, from the water cut, and then like the diet leading into Texas, and
it's also that stress reduction.
Yeah, that's
like he got that initial show. This was his pro debut. He'd been.
Right, you can see how tired his physique still kind of is.
Yeah.
And that's normal, right? Like going into a first show after a long prep, like it's like he's so dry, and like his body's like he was getting better too as he was posing.
Yeah.
And now it's like a whole other week, and you just see him, and it's just everything looks fresh. That's great, man. It's cool to see that like change too, because it's like a different version of his physique.
I've been always known to come in better at my second show of the year.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of guys that don't, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like even if you miss it a little bit, you can mess up.
Just fuck up. Like if you can't come in better the next time.
Either way, though, 4th place at his pro debut. He looked in a stacked lineup.
Yeah. Man, and it's funny because when I was 21, and I was like just before I started doing the national men's open, and like I started doing really well, and I moved out to Alberta where he's from for the summer, and I didn't know him or anything. And I went to the provincial show, because that's what we used to have. Like you'd have the provincial show, and then you'd be able to go. Well, actually, out there you had to qualify for the provincial show, and then you'd do the provincial show, and then you could do nationals, like the Canadian nationals, or the North Americans. That was the only 2 options for Canadians.
Yeah, that's when they still had the tier system, right?
Yeah, and that's like Ron Partlow. He used to do that. He used to every year. Ron would do the Canadian nationals, then he'd do North American. Boom, boom, supers, and that was like, dude. The shows back then, it was like, Frank and Fouad and Ben Pekulski and Ron and like all these, there's all these freaks from Quebec, like these huge guys. And just every year, it's like the top 10 supers were just like,
and only
level guys pro, now.
So the rest of them would be there the next year.
Yeah. And like, I remember Ron telling me about the story of like he got second at the supers, and then the next year he was come back, he was ready to go, and then Frank showed up and just boom out of nowhere. It's like nobody knew Frank. He's from Newfoundland, and he showed up. He was like 22 or 23 and just beat everyone.
Wow.
And he was just like, well, fuck. He got second. I don't know if he made it to the overall, but then lost to Frank in the overall, because I think Frank was a heavy. Anyways, Cody did his first. I think it was his first show when he was. I think he was a middleweight. And he came out, and it was just like, holy shit! Like, look at this kid. Like he was like 19. He might have been 20, but he was like 19, 20. And I remember meeting him after the show, and I was like, dude, holy shit! I was like, and then he was like following me at the time, which was kind of cool. But it's like I remember seeing. I was like, dude, you could go pro if you stick with this. Like, you've got a retarded shape. It's like, the rest is history.
No.
It's
a good lineup.
All around. I think every
show.
class has like a lot of uncertainty with a lot of the ranks for like the Texas show.
Have you guys taken a look at the scorecard since we're talking about the 212?
I mean, it's a lot of guys from Tampa still too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few new names, and then
Kareth Baggio. He's coming from Tampa. Cody, like we talked about, from Tampa. Ahmad Elgargni is coming from Tampa. Who else do we have in here? Ricky Motten is coming from Tampa.
I was really impressed with Ricky.
Wow.
I remember I met him in Toronto. I think I've seen him before, like last year in Toronto, because I was up there and my client did a show. But Dylan did the Toronto last year. I remember seeing, because him and Quinton always train. But he's like, Ricky's like a really, like they're training partners. Him and Quinton are training partners as far as I know. Maybe I'm wrong, but they're always training together. So we always go up and stay for like a week before the show in Toronto and just train at Pure. So I remember seeing him be super quiet and he's always like covered up. So like seeing him the last like 3 weeks, I was like, holy shit, man. Like this guy. And then he looked phenomenal on stage. It's like it's almost like a little bit of a shorter version of Quint. In some is like shape wise. It's just like his torso is a little shorter, you know, height wise.
Yeah. I mean, I competed with him back in Classic Physique when we were both in there. And we both did the Arnold Classic together. I think he got sixth. I got seventh, I think, at the Arnold. But
yeah, he definitely looks like his physique filled out a lot more, looks a lot better.
Yeah.
Does it look like he has a little bit of a film on him?
He could have been probably a little drier, but I mean, he still looks great.
It almost looks like he could have been a little fuller though, too.
Fuller?
You know what I mean? Like, and then
maybe it's the oil. I don't know.
I mean, not that he wasn't full.
I mean, definitely that side shot. You looking at the leg, you could see there could definitely be a little harder there, more separation.
Yeah, that is true.
But 212 debut, placing fifth? Yeah, fifth place.
I feel like if he literally just focused on coming in, like even if he was lost a little bit of size, if he came in harder, he would have moved up a place or two.
Well, yeah, and I mean, you're also talking about like, it's one of those things where he looks great there, but it's like then you get next to Cody with his conditioning and some of the other guys, then it makes it's like not even the same conversation, right? And like you said, it's just, I feel like he's gonna be a lot tighter this week because it doesn't look like it's like mostly a conditioning thing. I think it mostly is just like the peak, you know.
Well, I feel it's similar. Like when I first moved to the 212, and I had the size game in my head because I'm coming from Classic, you know, and I didn't do well. And then I went a couple weeks later to the New York Pro, and I said, I don't give a crap about my size. I want to come in, peel to the bone, and redeem myself from not being quite in my best shape.
Right.
And I moved up to second, you know, not worried about size. I was probably 8 pounds lighter.
It also, like, the judges' feedback too, like, you know, you ask them what they want, pretty clear. They're not trying to like deceive you.
Right.
Yeah.
And then if you actually, I mean, that's just how this works, man. Like, this is like, it's a game in a sense, right? You do these shows, you put your time in, you get feedback. The judges give you direction. And this is even like at the national level and the amateur level, like the judges, everybody that judges from all levels, like they're all qualified. They all have to pass certain standards, and every single one of them has usually competed, and they're all versed on the criteria for the class. And it's like, so one thing I find about this newer generation of competitors is people come into these shows, and if they don't place, and it could be a lot of things, because you can come into a show and be absolutely phenomenal, and someone's just that much better, and it's the peak was perfect, any class, right? And then it's like, well, I don't understand. And it's like, go talk to the judges. Sometimes it's like, honestly, you didn't have to do anything. It's just that individual's a freak. Like,
right.
Losing to them.
That's literally happened to me before. The judges had no critique against me.
There's some situations, especially in the female classes, where it's like how they present themselves, or, you know, and that can be a variety. And I mean, you know that, man, you've dealt with that, you know, dealing with the judging and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just like, focus on what the judges want to get that feedback. Because then the other thing is too, your coach is going to take that too. Like, what did the head judge say?
Right.
Okay, I agree. Typically, I haven't met a lot of coaches that don't usually agree with like feedback from the judges, you know, or it's like, fuck, I didn't really see that. That's actually good to know. You know, it's good to know that that's something that they're looking for. You know, it's never a bad thing. I think it's neglected a lot of times.
Do you think
I always try and get some feedback from them, and you know, sometimes, like you said, sometimes I get the feedback and I'm like, yeah, I can see that. I understand what you're saying. I need to work on that. I need to do this or that. And then every now and then I'm like, I feel like you just grabbed a random critique out of a bag and threw it at me just to say something.
Yeah, it depends too it depends on the person. This is obviously individual to individual, right? But
yeah. But then you have judges like the head judge from Orlando when I did the Orlando Pro. He found me after the show. He came up to me and, you know, gave me his feedback and critique, and like he's always been like that. Every show he's judged me at, he'll come up to me and he'll be like, hey man, you looked great. I just think you need a little bit of this, or, you know, if you'd have done this, you know, a little bit better, whatever. Like,
it's also,
so there's certain judges that are really good about it.
But the other thing is too, I've noticed with this industry is if you make an effort, and I mean, I've never been in the professional realm yet. So like, I can't speak from that, but in general, like if you start going out of your way, because a lot of it's ego and stubbornness, like even if you do well, if you go out of your way to go talk to the judges just to create a relationship or say, hey, like maybe I won, but like any feedback, you know. And then if you do that every show, say you do 10 pro shows over 3 years, if you talk to the judges every single show, they're going to know who you are for sure. And if they start to know who you are and they start to see your progress, they're going to probably judge in your favor. Like, hey,
that's the big thing, is them seeing your progress. They see that you're working.
You want them to pay attention
to make those improvements that they're telling you that you need to make.
And of course, like that, you know, it's like, well, this isn't about like favoritism. It's more like if you engage with the very people that determine your whole career. There's like 7 judges every show, and that's literally what determines your competitive success. You create a good relationship with them where they pay attention to your physique, like personal relationship off the stage, where when they start seeing you on stage, they start to actually like, hey, that's so-and-so. And then they start to actually genuinely look for improvements. But the other thing is too, they also notice when you don't improve.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, but that's great too. Like I would rather know the judges so well that if you're completely off, they're like, look, you just didn't, it was really big, like very noticeable. And then it's just like, okay, we'll just not do that again.
Yeah.
You know? No, I mean, you see that at the top level, right? You get guys that come off, guess what? They put them in 4th or 3rd.
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes even if
it's a conversation up there too, like, right?
Oh man, I would have had that guy place a little bit higher. But a lot of times they get judged on comparing them to their last show, not compared to the guy they're next to. Sometimes it's like, dude, we've seen you so much better.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's the thing, right? Like, guys know that. Look at their placing, like, oh yeah, right.
Yeah, I remember Austin Carr at was it Chicago last year, where he like placed 16th or something. Tampa. Right after, and
then he did Texas right after.
Yeah, and then did 2nd.
He was way off in Tampa.
Yeah, I remember that. So
was
like,
that
he was pretty
Austin
upset
Carr.
backstage.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
He was upset about it. But then he got with AJ Sims like that night after the show.
Wow.
He got with AJ Sims and he pulled him into Texas right after that.
Mm-hmm. Which was phenomenal, you know.
Yeah, in such a short amount of time, the improvements they made, and now they've had a whole year together.
Yeah. I think he's excited, like because we had him on the show, and great conversation. People watching, check it out. I remember he was talking. He wanted to take probably the rest of the year off and then splash in the Open.
Yeah, I talked to him not too long ago, and that's what he was like, I don't know if I want to do a show at the end of the year or just take the full year. And
bring up the photo of him. I don't know who this guy is.
Oh, Austin Carr? Sure.
Maybe I do. I told you, man, I'm horrible with names.
Yeah, like Austin Carr.
Trying to visualize this guy. I'm really bad
he got
with names.
Second to Keon in Chicago in 2020 or 2021. I
think it was last year. Well,
no, it was 2020.
Was it?
I
think you're right. Yeah. So this was him in his Tampa in 2019. A little small, but I mean, this is his face. Yeah, I mean, he's a freak.
Oh, I've definitely seen this guy before.
Yeah.
His
legs are nuts.
He plays second behind a guy we'll talk about in a second. I just lost it in the scorecard. Oh, that's the open. That's why. He plays second. Right? Ahmad El-Wardne, who placed sixth last weekend at Tampa.
Yeah, which I was surprised. Like, I agree with it watching the show, but I was surprised.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you look at the photos, and I think me and Austin were talking on the show when we were actually watching his previous photos.
More to do with his other placings than it does that show.
Yeah, he just didn't look as hard from the back.
No, you're right.
I mean, you got guys like Cody. Cody was peeled.
Yeah,
like Didoshak from
like, but see, last year Ahmad was like that too.
Yeah, and I think it's when you start going in the lineups and it's like you're not as, because I mean, dude, if you're talking like 0.5%, and then like a little bit of dryness, or like say starts to actually flatten out a little bit as he's posing, like all those little minor things. Yeah. We notice it. Other people are like, I don't even know what you're talking about. They all look insane.
Yeah,
but like the judges will see that, right? And that's probably why.
Yeah. Well, that's like in Tampa why Phil Klahar ended up moving down a spot at finals.
Yeah,
he just kept flattening out.
Oh yeah, I was wondering because I thought that was crazy that they.
I mean, this is a good shot of him, but like I don't think he was that dry. Like I think that's like a screenshot.
Yeah.
Shot.
I mean, we saw him from the back. Like it just.
Yeah.
The good part of
this is what it looked like on stage too.
The good part about like these shows right now and these lineups is that it's super difficult to move. Like there's like a good 5 or 6 guys that are probably going to be in that top 6, but it's going to be like peaking improvements from like last weekend's going to be a huge influencer between this weekend. Because even if guys look fantastic, but they're a little off from last weekend, I'm assuming the judging is not going to be quite different in terms of like
it could flip any which way out of like 6 different people on who nails it.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I mean, you've got Keon out of the picture now, right?
Yeah.
So
Carrots should be the favorite.
Yeah.
After last week.
Yeah.
So, but then Cody comes in a little bit better than last week, and
I could see Cody potentially getting into that top 2. I don't know if he will, but like in terms of like if he peaks everything 110%, because his posing, like Cody's posing is on point. Like and the big thing with Cody is when he's on stage with everybody else, he looks that much better. I find the more he poses and stuff like that. So he could do that, but that, like you said, it's like maybe not. Depends on these other guys, right?
Yeah.
And even Didoshak, I could see Didoshak moving up a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah, because he did
he always does a lot better the second time around. And the thing is, like, knowing his camp, so he was down there in Tampa. He had his business partner Corey with him, but I think this time Ron is actually down there, who's coaching him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I heard that Ron's actually staying
and
down
trust
there with
me,
him.
with Didoshak, his biggest thing is like, getting focused in there. And with Ron there, like Ron was there when he won his pro card and he did the Toronto, like he's just in such a different headspace. And then that second time around of like the whole week filling out,
he's freaking great there.
And having Ron there in person to do the peak is
right.
Yeah.
I can see that going much better, and with how he's going to look on stage, confidence wise, because he's just got such a freaky package, and his conditioning is obviously, as you can see, I think that could be a big change too. It's just going to be interesting to see that prejudging those callouts come out, right, and see everybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's exciting, man.
Yeah,
I like that.
I'm really happy with the trajectory of 212, like where it's going right now.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm worried about is too many of like the top talents going open. I guess it's not a bad thing for 212, but it's, I don't know.
I mean, I think, yeah, you're kind of seeing that because there's obviously, like, you're talking about,
you got Derek, you got Sean maybe moving up.
But I mean, I think that's just more conversation because they can,
yeah.
Right? Versus like Sean had mentioned there, I think he said, like, if it's not coming from me, it's fake news.
Yep.
He still really wants to do both. That's the thing.
Yeah.
He's waiting for the IFBB to tell him whether or not they're going to allow him to do both.
Yeah. Same with Sean. Sean wants to do both too.
I think the rule.
I thought you meant Derek.
I think the rule should be, if you're qualified for both, you should be able to enter both.
That's what I mean.
Because technically, by rights, you got to win an open show and you got to win a 212. So
exactly, you have to qualify for it. So it's not like you're getting
everybody
invite or you're just slipping in,
and you're not like stealing prize money. Like you earned it.
How many 212 guys can win an open show?
Right.
So then it's like, if you're even eligible, like if you're even good enough to win an open show, because not only is it winning an open show, you're literally going up against guys that have a good 50 to 60 pounds of tissue on you.
Yep.
Other than the structural things. So it's like, but in the
or
case
100 in Sean's case.
Yeah.
Now, if Flex was doing his career now, I think he would probably have moved up to the open.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But like, I mean, even Flex, man, like when he moved up to the open, think about the guys he had to compete against back then.
Yeah.
He did a couple open shows and he was still not struggling, but like,
yeah, he was strategic though. He didn't hop into the New York Pro. Like he did Korea a couple times, maybe
did some fun ones. Like he did a couple Europe. I think he did he do Spain, the Arnold there, Spain once, was it?
Oh, I can't remember. Yeah, that's before my time, before I got into bodybuilding.
One European show wasn't long ago. I think it was like 6 or 7 years ago, and he just like jumped into an open. I think he got like third or fourth or something.
Yeah, I was a pretty what do you call it? Casual fan until about like 4 years ago. So I'm still relatively new.
Open now.
I saw him. I saw him on the scorecard. Yeah, I don't want to jump too far ahead because I still want to dig into 212 a little bit more. So we talked. What are your guys' predictions for the 212? What are you guys thinking for your say top six? Here, let me pull the scorecard for you. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
You're like, my memory's not that good, man. I appreciate you thinking I'm like a genius, but work with me.
Let me just use my photographic memory real quick.
I should have sent you guys notes.
I think Ahmad and Cody.
Kareth,
yeah.
Cody. Well, I'll let you guys go. I got to pick my.
I think Ricky, Cody, Ahmad, Kareth. I think Didoshak can get into that top six, six for sure.
What about Jordan?
I was gonna say, what about Janowitz? Because he's looking pretty nuts.
We didn't look at him yet.
Janowitz. I didn't know he could get down that to 212.
Yeah, he turned pro as a heavyweight, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Here it is.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
he could fit.
Sure.
He's got to be cutting it close though. I mean, he was a heavyweight when he turned pro.
Oh, okay.
That's 225 to 198. So
yeah,
he could have been right around that 212 mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could land in there.
He definitely had to suck down though.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully not too much.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Jordan could land in there.
I think
I definitely see Kareth, Cody, Jordan. Who else? You got Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky.
Who else did you saw? Didoshak.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know a lot of these names, so I feel bad leaving people out because I just don't know them.
Yeah,
that's 5.
What did Kevin Johnson end up placing last week?
10th at Tampa.
10th.
Yep.
Was he just? I didn't see that many pictures of him.
No, me neither.
Can you bring up go on bodybuilding? Yeah, or Bodybuilders Without Borders.
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin usually does pretty good.
They have a 212. If you scroll down, keep going right there.
I saw that they have Kevin on this picture on the second slide.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, he looked good. Full.
I think there's just a lot of guys that are like structurally very similar. It's just a matter of like who's going to come in sharper from last week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for that like 10th to like 6th spot, or even like 11th to 6th could be a lot of shuffling, but I think the top 5 are pretty clear in terms of like who you're probably going to see in there.
Yeah. I will say that what's his name? Martin Gomez, the bottom right guy.
Yeah.
He placed 3rd at Texas last year. So he could be a dark horse. Crazy conditioning.
He's got phenomenal shape.
Yeah, this guy he looks really good.
So what is his predictions?
Oh, Daniels?
Let's see here. Naturally, Tampa Pro 2nd place. Kenneth's favorite. Then Cody, Ricky, and Ahmad will be among 2 pro debuts. Put money on Jordan Janowitz. Yeah, and the champ Big Swole.
Who's that?
Andre
McShane.
He's on the first page there. So if you go back to the first photo,
there he is. That's him right there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Actually, he looks pretty fucking good. Depending on, I think he's doing his debut, so it's like
no, he plays 7th in Chicago.
Really know.
Kind of an unknown factor, yeah.
So yeah,
he did Chicago. You said?
Yeah, I put in my records. He did 7th. He got 7th there. I'm just trying to find where. I don't see any. Yeah, I don't see anything. Maybe I pulled up the wrong name.
That's Pittsburgh. That's North Americans.
Yeah. Well, that's 2020. Yeah, maybe it is a pro debut.
Well, that's what it said, because he said put your money on the debut.
Yeah.
Yeah, or right there. Yeah, he said put two pro debuts, put in Jordan Janowitz. So he must have did North Americans last year.
Okay.
But it's just, you know how it is. You just have to, and then those are 2 Korean guys there. It says very well, although 2 Koreans, Team Boston very well could make the top 6. So yeah, I think it's just a matter of the peak.
Yeah.
And who can hold their shots on stage. And you know, it's so minute, the detail. All those guys are supposed to be there, right? They're all in shape. It's just a matter of like going through the poses, and then how everybody looks beside each other could be completely different from last week too. You know, I think
I'd love to see Kareth, Cody, Didoshak, and like Janowitz and like
Ricky,
like
top
and
5.
Then I love it when somebody just shocks us and like comes out of nowhere,
I think,
you know,
I think you're gonna see that, you know, somebody come into that first call out of the like taking Keon out from all the guys from Tampa, and then somebody else. I think you'll see somebody in the mix based on just improvements.
Okay, pretty solid
lineup, actually.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a good show. I think they just posted
awesome
information.
Lineups are making me miss the stay. I'm like, man, why did I go into the off season?
I hear you.
To grow, man.
I know. Got to get huge.
Are you? What are you gonna do? What's your plans?
Just grow. I mean, we'll see if I'm ready to get back on stage for maybe Orlando or Tampa next year.
Yeah.
I wish I could do something sooner, but I just want to make sure that I'm 100% ready.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, you want to put the hammer down.
I had such a good rebound after this show, though, that like I sent my pictures to a friend of mine that's a coach, and he was like, dude, what the hell did you do for Orlando? He's like, you over dieted so bad. He's like, you could step on stage this weekend, pull a little water, and do better than you did in Orlando. And I would, he's like, you'd be 220. You'd be like 225, 230 and competitive. And I was like, you know, I would love to do that, but I want to make sure I do it right. I'm confident next time I get on stage.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's no rush to do anything.
Yeah. I thought about I was like, you know, I'm 240 right now. I still have striated glutes. And like everything's still there. Obviously, I'm very full. And,
yeah, of course.
You know,
but like you haven't put on a significant amount of body fat in terms of your body weight.
Yeah, no, like my skin still looks like tight as can be. I hit my side shots and there's nothing.
Yeah, you're just full. You're just glycogen is completely full every day. So
exactly.
Full
yeah, and obviously holding water because of that. So it's like, that was
that's pretty good.
So
well, I'm the same fucking weight as you, dude.
Yeah, like obviously it's not quite as detailed or anything like I would need to be for a show, but
well, I mean it's not like you dieted down from 260 to 240 or like 270 to 240. Like it's not that kind of 240.
Right.
But it's a pretty fucking extremely you could probably pull it down to like 225 fucking.
That's what I figure. Yeah. That's
like even if you got down to 220, man, you would be like dialed. Like
that was a hard pose to hit at 240 filled out.
Like you could take like, you know, 5 pounds of fat off, which is probably not much more than that.
Yeah.
And like 10 or 12 pounds of water.
Yeah.
And put on a couple pounds of muscle. Like, you know what I mean? Like just if you dieted down like that, you'd probably put a little bit more lean body mass on, drop the water and the fat. Like there's not much fat to come off. Like,
right.
Looks like it's mostly just from your lower back.
Yeah, that's where that's the
like
first place it goes.
Of your glutes, which is just like the start of like you actually got some healthy tissue on you.
Right. So,
but I mean, the thing is, too, your body fat's low enough where you're actually probably making better progress. Where it's like you've got enough back that everything's kind of in homeostasis. Your estrogen's probably back up a little bit more. Everything's probably more balanced. So like everything's firing like.
I'm getting better sleep because I'm not on the harsh crap.
Right.
Yeah. Like everything's more like this.
Yeah.
And then it's like you're looking.
I feel really good. Like this is the first time I've ever like stuck to post show. Like,
yeah. It's funny how that first
done it the proper way. Yeah, I'm like, instead of going and binging on a ton of food and gaining 40 pounds in a week, like I just slowly increased my rice, my oats, my potatoes, stuff like, did it the right way for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that so important? Like, I never do it right.
No, I never have in the past, man. I saw Chris Aceto this weekend at the Tampa, and like he was just shocked because he was like,
he was expecting
you're 10 pounds up the next day.
Yeah, he was expecting you to be in your normal routine.
Yeah. He's expecting me to just come in bloated and like wobbling through the.
It's the same thing for me, man. Like I've done an actual proper. Well, because I'm going to compete again in 8.5 weeks.
Okay.
So when I finished Vancouver, it was kind of like back on prep.
Yeah.
Dude, I never gained a fucking pound from my stage weight.
Really?
No. But I also came off.
Yeah.
Like, so
came off.
That didn't like, no, like, sorry. What I mean come off is like from finishing the show.
Oh, you didn't come off prep.
No. Like from finishing the show till I got back home, like I wasn't taking anything.
Oh yeah.
But as soon as the show stopped, so I had like 4 or 5 days where I was like off, where you're just like cruising through lower level. So I didn't have that like you know, jam a bunch of stuff in you and you put on 10 pounds of water and just be like,
right.
Mm.
No, it feels good whenever you do it right. Like, I wish I'd have learned this sooner.
Yeah, so I think I was 245 on stage, and then I held that for a week, and then I went down to 240, and then I was back up to 242, and now I'm back under 240 again. But my composition has changed significantly, and I mean, took a little bit of a break too, with because I've been prepping for like, yeah, so that was 10 weeks out. So this is just 242.
Wow, that's good.
But yeah, I'm kind of back to my old comp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said 8 weeks out, right?
Yeah, I'm 8.5 now.
8
so
and a half, my bad.
Yeah, like Saturday I'll be 8. Yeah. I'm doing the Canadian National Pro Qualifier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hell yeah.
I'm excited, man. It's nice because I'm like, this is the prep that I'm not pulling down, right? And then like from Vancouver, it's been 3 weeks. It was like 3 weeks of just like, you know, not like running under 1,000 milligrams of stuff. Well, actually less than that in most cases. And, you know, it's home with the family. I stayed, there was like the first couple days I kind of ate what I wanted, but it like wasn't anything.
You don't want to do that though. You want to like keep at it.
Because I was at home and my sister was home and the kids. So it was like, you know, mom was like, oh, we're going to have like, it's like, you know, your dinner. So you'd have like supper with the family. It wasn't like, you know, binge eat express. Put on
all your good meals and then have one.
Yeah, there's like good meals, little snack. The kids are around, so there's like little snacks and like little things like that. And then like with doing stuff to family, like man, like running around with the kids. And then my parents, I got a Sea-Doo. My parents have my Sea-Doo at their lake. So I
saw your videos you posted with that.
Yeah, I was ripping around on the Sea-Doo the whole time, man. And like that takes a lot out of you. And I was letting my nephew drive it, and he's 8. And he was just like, you know, sport mode, full throttle. And I, man, throwing me off. And like, it must have went off like 10 or 15 times. And just to try and climb back up on that fucking thing, man, and swim. Holy crap. Not built for swimming.
Oh, yeah.
But just a lot, like doing a lot of extra activity. So it was like, I did my first check-in the week after, and I was like, holy crap, like I'm pretty much stage weight still.
Wow.
Which is just good because it's like, I know I'm putting on, I wasn't really building tissue either right away after the show. But, you know, it's like, I think more than anything, man, just a break physically and like internally. Because now that we're 8.5 weeks out and we're turning things back on again, I feel fantastic.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know who's promoting that one? You said the Canadian Pro Qualifier?
It'd be Ron Hache.
Ron Hache?
Yeah, he's the CPA president of the amateur. He's doing he's promoting that Yamamoto show in France at the end of September too. The
pro show?
Yeah, it's a pro show, the Yamamoto
in France.
In France. I think
I thought it was in Italy.
30th. No, they have one in Italy, but they have
another one. Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's in France.
I love new pro shows.
Yeah, so
good.
like,
all right.
That's actually, I mean, I only saw it on the schedule, and then I noticed that Rom was promoting it. So I saw it. I was like, what are you doing promoting a show in France? And it was like, well, they reached out to him and asked him if they wanted to promote it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a flight over the water. Like, it's so funny, like in Canada, you know, guys will go do the Vancouver Pro.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it, but it's like they'll travel from the East Coast, and it's like it's cheaper to fly to Europe, man. Like literally you fly over the Atlantic Ocean and you're there. And it's like
really
versus you fly all the way over like going from New York to Vegas or LA, like it's not, it's closer to go to Europe. You know? But yeah, like that could actually be a good show for people to like hop into, just buy a flight.
Yeah. I mean, I always like seeing those European tour, those European Grand Prix shows, like how it used to be.
Cool, man. Like,
I wish they'd rename them and just, you know, make a big old tour out of it.
It'd be nice
if jump in some European shows sometime, or just any shows like international.
Yeah, that's everyone's dream.
They got to put that. They got to put the Olympia back to September, man.
You think so?
Oh, I wish.
That's the only way they'd be able to really do that, right? Because they
like
crank
yeah,
at the end of September,
post Olympia tour.
October, November, they'd have 6 or 7 pro shows all the way from like I don't know, like Italy up to Prague and like down to France.
Because right now with the Olympia so late in the year, the only people that are going to do all those shows are people that are trying to qualify for next year. They don't plan on doing the Olympia this year.
And that's kind
Anyone
of like
prepping for the Olympia is not going to jump in those shows.
Mm-hmm.
No. I mean, unless they prepping for the Olympia. Unless they qualify, like that kind of prepping.
Yeah. It's a strategy, but I don't know. You're not gonna bring like the best cream of the crop to those shows. Right. Like it's not gonna be the most beneficial thing for those shows.
But the other part of we have to understand too is like I think next year,
next year's gonna open up even more. Maybe.
Hopefully will be a normal year where people can actually organize shit together globally.
Yep.
Yeah.
Other than fucking World War III.
Right.
Something better organized globally. That would be, it'd be interesting. But I mean, that's the other thing too. It's the powers to be like, it looks like they're trying to do more in like Asia next year. There's a lot of pro shows over there.
Oh, I bet.
Like they're talking about moving over to Dubai. Like the Manions are getting more involved in like having, and I think, dude, that's a huge market. Like think about India even, man. Like,
oh yeah,
there's a massive Indian market.
Why the fuck don't they have pro shows over there, man?
Yeah.
You know how many people will go?
I always thought the Cherenfant Classic was in India.
It was, and it was huge.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I feel like a lot of it has to do with the industry behind, because you got to understand with these shows, like, yeah, okay, it'd be cool to do the Cherenfant Classic, but the guy who did that, I think he's probably just loaded and just put it on and paid everybody to come. You need to have companies over there sponsoring, like the Olympian. Think all those shows, like all the brands, all the supplement companies that are coming in, and like with the expo and stuff, they're fronting the bill.
Yeah.
And if they don't show up, like there's not a lot of those companies and brands. I don't know, maybe there is now in like
India is really what's his name? Dexter Jackson's really big over there with his company.
Okay.
Yeah,
really?
He started there. He hasn't even, I don't think he's even released in the US yet. He's
really? Okay.
Oh, wow.
I know I've seen a lot of stuff.
Yeah, like I don't know any of this information, but like I can see that that's probably been a thing from the past that's been a big, like they just don't have the industry, but like you even see like they should be doing like, more pro shows in Japan and Korea, and like they have a lot of pros,
Yeah. They have a lot of pro shows in Korea, just not open.
But then I feel like too, you know how it is.
212.
Yeah, a lot of bikini.
Yep. Like with the NPC and like all that, I feel like too, they would be more inclined to try and get more US shows.
Yeah.
Just,
I think the biggest things over there are bikini and men's physique though. Like in classics getting bigger, but like bikini and men's physique, like those, I think they just, not that they're just built for that, but they prefer that look a lot of them,
culturally,
like the majority.
Yeah, and I mean, like structurally, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, it'd be fun to do. Like I know, like going up into the Nordic area.
Yeah,
we're in Europe. Like there's huge bodybuilding fans over there, man. It'd be sweet to go do a show over there. Well, in 2020, right before COVID, I prepped to do the what was it called? The Nordic Pro Qualifier.
Yeah.
So was just to do a pro qualifier over there in Denmark. And I was like, this would be sweet. Like go over there and in front of total new set of judges. You've never competed with any of those guys before. Super unbiased, like just go show up, see how you do. But yeah.
I always thought it'd be fun to do like maybe like a Thailand NPC show or something and just be like the only white guy just rolling in there being like,
you know what?
6'3", like what's up?
That sounds good, but to fucking fly over to Thailand, man.
Yeah. Well, it'd be part of like a vacation, Oh yeah,
dude. I don't even know if I could. I'm just thinking of the flights and like switching food over there and trying to find food and like maybe potentially getting sick, and then the humidity, like going from being in Canada to Thailand.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm almost anxiety trying to think about that. And then like tanning. Like, do they have the right tanners over there? Can I get the food that I need over there? Like, am I going to get robbed?
That's a lot.
You're right, though. That would be good. You'd have to go like a couple weeks before the show. You'd have to like climatize. I
mean, I don't have excuses. I'm right outside San Francisco, so there's so many shows. So
you could rip over there a lot faster than it'd be like a whole other 10 hours for me and you to even get to San Fran to then fly. Yeah. Or even in South America, man, like going down and doing those Brazilian shows.
That'd be cool.
That would be fun. Because I know Brazil, like, so where Brazil is in South America, it's kind of central. Like if you go to like Florianopolis, it's kind of like the atmosphere that we kind of have, like where you can like grow crops and stuff like that. It's kind of tropical. So it's actually, you start to go down to some of those areas and it's like pretty similar to adjust to. Unless you go to like Rio de Janeiro and up further where it's like super hot, but that would be more like Florida. So you'd be fine, Jason.
Yeah, in Tampa. Yeah, he's set.
Is that where you're living now? Is Tampa, Jason? Or have you always lived there?
I think he moved to Tampa last time we talked.
Because I thought he was in North, like up near Orlando.
He was Jason, you were in like Tallahassee, weren't you, for a while?
Yeah, I was in well, sort of, yeah.
The first time we talked.
In
2020.
No, the first time we talked, I was already living in Daytona. But yeah, I'm from the Tallahassee area.
See, I remember a thing or two. I have a cat.
This is my new puppy.
Come on, buddy. Look, there's another dog.
He's hello. I just got him on Monday or Sunday.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's just about 9 weeks old. Hey, bud.
Is that like a Labradoodle or?
He's a golden doodle.
Golden doodle. That's a good one.
That's
what my brother has.
You get the hiccups, bud, or are you gonna?
Oh, he gets the hiccups like crazy, bro.
Yeah.
No, it's just a puppy thing.
Oh.
He eats and drinks way too fast, and then like crazy.
That makes sense. That's what happens to me when I'm too hungry.
Sitting there going.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. I'm crate training him though, so my sleep is fucked.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He just screams, man, all night.
He's good.
He's like
we just started letting him sleep outside of the crate this week.
Okay.
And he sleeps so much better since we stopped putting him in the crate, but we just didn't trust him the first few weeks, because it's like wake up and step in a pile of shit.
Oh, I step in a pile of vomit. Oh, yeah, our cats throw up. Yeah, I have one that's like really anxious, so he'll just like throw up. Just kind of random.
Yeah, I'm crate training him just because I want him to, mostly for the daytime. Like I'm not really concerned about the sleeping thing, but him sleeping in there is just going to help him get more used to it. But then it's like, I want to get to a place where after a couple of years, that's where he wants to go anyways. And then if my parents or somebody needs to look after him, he can be in there. Like if they have to go to the house, you can put him in there and he'll be happy to go in there. It's his little happy space. He'll go in there for 2 or 3 hours or whatever, sleep. But then it's just like, I don't want him destroying, like, being at somebody else's house. If somebody's looking after him, like being out and like destroying shit or getting into things. The other thing is too, I've got friends where somebody's babysat their dog and then their dog got into something at someone's house. That's sick. And then they're like on vacation. It's like, like we had to take him to the emergency to vet, like $5,000 bill. And it's just like, well, we were out for like 4 or 5 hours and he got into this thing and and ate all this shit. Like, so it's just like
good in this crate. When I go to the gym or something like that, I'll put him in the crate and he's perfectly fine.
Yeah, he's not so bad with it. Like he'll cry, like at night he'll cry a bit, but then he'll go to sleep and then he'll wake up in the night and realize he can't because he's used to sleeping on the floor. That's how the breeders had them. They just all slept right on the floor, laid out. And then like I've even tried putting him in bed with me, just not like when I'm sleeping, but just he's just like, nope, back on the floor. Interest.
I'm gonna let him out of my room real quick.
Yeah. So Tyler's not coming on?
No, yeah, he said he had to hop out. Yeah, it's kind of bummed. He's my wingman typically for most of these shows. He's a chatterbox.
Good old Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler's good.
He did really well at the Toronto.
Yeah, we're all really, really happy for him. Jason, you mentioned Nathan Epler doing open.
Yeah. I talked to him for a while Saturday at the Tampa Pro. And he was talking about how tough it was for him to really get down, make weight, and just couldn't really fill out at all. It
surprises me because he placed fifth last year in the Olympia. No, he's doing open for Texas.
Oh,
yeah. So he's moving up. Which, if you're top 5 in the 212, like, why wouldn't you just move back into the Olympia and see where you land?
Haven't touched water or salt. Oh, he just means they haven't taken anything out.
Yeah.
Been loading carbs slow. Haven't even pushed it yet. We'll start drying it tomorrow, adding more food. Wow. Yeah, but I mean, like, if he can, like, I'm assuming he'll probably pull down to like 217, 216, like with water.
What I was figuring. Yeah.
And then, like, probably from there, he'll still continue to fill out at that weight and get drier. I mean, dude, with a frame like his, an extra like 4 to 5 pounds of like fullness with his conditioning could be pretty fucking good.
Yeah, this is
because, I mean, look at him there at 220, like him at 220 right there with all those lines, and he's only going to get drier, and probably he's still going to continue to fill out. That could be pretty good, but like you said, like, you're going into a lineup with like Quinton and like
a lot of big guys,
Steve Kluko,
yeah,
you know, Roman
Martin,
and
I could see
Seth Engman,
him being competitive with someone like Eddie Brachmantis, though, who, I mean, was
he placed sixth
in Tampa. Like, I could see him being competitive with that.
Yeah, but then you also have like people like Big Bad Bundy, who's just an absolute monster. He placed 10th at Chicago last year, so not great. He's going to be in that conversation for top 6 to, probably push Eddie out, because Eddie, for people that don't know, like, that was probably one of the smaller packages Eddie's brought.
He was in good condition, but he was definitely looked downsized a little.
Yeah, especially compared to I think it was Cali last year, where he placed top 4. Yeah, he looked great, just downsized.
I think he was with Matt Jansen now.
Oh, is he? Oh, good. Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what I saw. Let's see if he's like, click on one of the pictures.
Matt Jansen, yep. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Jensen, he's got a pretty solid crew going right now. Yeah, so we've got Big Bad Bundy. I'll pull him up real quick. I think he still goes by that, right?
Another photo.
Yeah. Jephte or something. Bundy, he never posts a lot. And it doesn't, I don't know if it helps him, like, people want to see what you look like. And this is the most he didn't show anything last year. So this is good to see.
Yeah, he looks good. It's just hard to tell like what he would look like next to other people from these little shots like this.
It's just a small snippet. Yeah, I mean, you put him next to Epler, I think he's gonna make him look small in some shots at least.
Yeah,
especially in the hair department.
That hair is pretty wild.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that long.
Are you like screen sharing right now?
Yeah.
I can't see it.
Oh, really? Oh,
where'd it go?
I'm trying
to see it.
I can't.
Jason's like, sucks to be you.
Yeah, I was like, I'm watching the whole thing, man.
It's in here. Have you been able to see the screen share the whole time?
I have been, and then it just went
Okay.
away. So I don't know where. If it. Hold on a second. Maybe it. What is this? Huh.
Wow.
I'm gonna. I don't know. Let me call back in or something.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do I do this now? Oh, there it is.
We'll get you seasoned on the
How do I
podcast.
get?
Let me see if I can boot you. Let me see.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So yeah, Big Bad Bundy, Phil Clayhar, Kamal's gonna be in that top 6. I think Seth Engman's gonna have a chance. I thought he looked really good in Vancouver.
What does he look like? I can't think of what he looks like.
I don't really agree with that.
No, you don't think so?
Not with the guys. Not with guys like Quinton. Not with guys like Quinton and like Steve Kluko.
You don't think he could like round out the 6?
Maybe, yeah. But like then again, you got guys like Roman who's gonna have like a more
crazy conditioning,
like conditioning wise, and then like structure. He's like a little bit shorter. Because this guy had to be like, he was pretty tall.
He looks really tall, yeah.
Like I can't see him beating out. You got Kuklo,
Quinton,
Kamal, Quinton, Phil Clayhar. I think if he comes in a little fuller.
And he
Martin.
Martin's gonna look good.
Yeah,
and
Joe
like
Mackey.
Yeah. I don't see him beating out.
I think this. Yeah. Okay.
And then
so the 6 is pretty locked in.
And then we have the enigma Andrew Jack, who knows what.
I keep forgetting him. Yeah, he's all the way down here. Or no.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you've got too like somebody like Roman who he needs a lot to fill out, and like the second time around doing the show.
I don't think he's got time to fill out. He over dieted so bad.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like even like now that it's Texas from the other weekend, it might be that much better for him, just in terms of that.
I think he'll look better.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying. Like you got a lot of guys that are going to come in looking great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's gonna be probably fighting in that. I think Andrew, Quinton, Kamal, and Steve will be top 4 for sure.
I just don't think Andrew's gonna have the conditioning to really battle with the top spot.
No,
like from the back. If you go up, I think up at the top. I think you put up a video posing. Maybe I don't know where it was. Maybe it was one of his tagged pictures or something.
I know what you mean. It's from the back. It's a detail.
Yeah, from the back and the side shots, he's very smooth still. Phenomenal muscle bellies and shape, but just looked very smooth still. And it was like 2 weeks out.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how these guys look. The other thing is you can't really predict somebody who hasn't been on stage yet. Right?
Yeah. We haven't seen him next to any of these pros.
No, and he hasn't peaked yet, so it's like we don't know. Like all these other guys from last week, somebody like Steve too. Steve Kluko's done so many shows. You know how he's going to show up, right?
Yeah.
Like Andrew's coming over here doing his first pro show. Probably everything is new-ish.
Yeah.
I don't know.
New muscle.
Yeah, but like maybe he's working with somebody new. Maybe like, it's hard to say because in a lot of cases those guys do and they get, from he's fairly new. I'd take it.
He was just on muscular development earlier today or yesterday with Ron. And he flat out said that he plans on coming into this show at 70 or 80%.
Wow.
So that's kind of annoying to me. I'm like, it's your pro debut.
Yeah, why did you say that you're 100%? Barely putting
Yeah, that also could just be something he's saying.
Maybe it's just ego.
I'm like, okay.
You know what I mean, though?
Yeah,
I'm only coming in at 70 to 80%, and then people are like, oh, fuck this guy, blah, blah. And then he comes in like, boom.
Just lights out.
Yeah, or the
everyone's like, oh, well, that's his only 70, 80%. And then it's just another, that's kind of smart.
Or the other way, and it's like, that's a safety statement because he knows he's going to come in off. And he's like, well, I was only at 70 or 80%.
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword, man. It's either in your favor or against.
Yeah.
Just come in at your best. Yeah. Have you guys heard of Carlos Emmanuel Longoria Rodriguez?
Yeah, he's Patrick's client.
Oh yeah, okay.
He won his card at the 2020 Mr. O amateur where I competed. He won the heavies and then he won the second pro card.
Oh, this guy. I've seen his pictures, but yeah, I didn't know his name.
So I think this is his best conditioning to date, and like knowing he's been working with Patrick for quite a while now, he'll be in shape. He'll be ready.
He's got a crazy shape.
Yeah. And like seeing pictures that Patrick posted and just knowing Patrick, I think you're gonna see this guy really show up ready.
Nail it.
He could creep.
Do you know what he weighs?
He's probably got to be like 230s, I would say.
Got an insane shape.
Yeah, he just didn't. I know he did Toronto in December there, and he just didn't have the conditioning quite on or the peak.
Yep.
Like that's also travel stuff as well. Whereas he's in Texas now. He's coming from Mexico. That's not a big travel.
Yeah.
That's not at all. Like there's a lot of factors. Like in December, he came up to the Toronto and he just didn't. He was off, but you could tell a lot of it was just like travel related. Like it was like peaking stuff, and of course, like this is a whole different situation, right? He's coming from a big off season. He looks a lot improved, and then more time working with the same coach has never been a bad thing in my experience.
Yeah,
right.
And knowing Patrick's going to be on the ball. I'm surprised he's not there with Florian going to do the classic.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I would say he's going to be someone. I would say he has a good shot of like beating out guys like Motten and Nathan.
Yeah.
Like
if he really nails it.
He's kind of around their height. He's like a heavyweight as an amateur. Like, that the 220s, and I'm sure he's bigger. He's got to be. But I could see him like
he could be one of those people that shocks everyone.
Yeah, because his shape and structure is similar to like a Motten or like Nathan, like in terms of like structure, but he's just got those freaky insertions, right? Like and he looks like he's put on a lot of quality size and conditioning. And I mean, like just knowing Patrick, man, like as long as he's following the plan, it should be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. That's going to be a good class. I think you'll see him move into the second call out pretty competitive if he's on.
Yeah, pretty comfortably.
Yeah.
All right.
Which I mean, second call out of that show is not going to be a bad spot to be. Like there's some shows like nobody wants to be fucking second call out. I'm sorry, but like there's some shows where it's like second call out's pretty damn fucking good considering the line, right?
Right. Like in the Arnold Classic or the Olympia, like second call out, it's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's still not. Everybody's second call outs.
Right.
You're still standing on the side.
Paradox, man. It's the paradox. Like,
you'll
be at the Olympia in the second call out and you'd be like, this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's also not necessarily true either. It's also a surreal scenario to be in, right?
Right. Yeah.
You almost want to be like grateful enough that you're in the position to complain about being in second call out at the Olympia.
Yeah. Well, Jason, you've been there. How was your experience?
I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty pissed when I wasn't called out.
Yeah, of course you were. That's the whole reason why you're in the Olympia in second call out is because of that same mentality. Like that's the thing about it is like bodybuilding is unfortunately one of those things where the better you do, the expectation of yourself never really changes. So like if you're second call out at the Olympia, you're in the top whatever 10 in the world. Now that you're in the conversation and you're supposed to be there, how do I get better? Like you're not even like, well, I made it, like I'm done. Or like say even some of the guys that want to win an Arnold, well, they didn't win Olympia. And if you win an Olympia, well, you want to win too.
Yeah.
But it never stops.
No, but that's how competing is. Like it's supposed to be like that, right? Like when you played sports when you're younger, you want to win every game, and then you want to win the championship, and then you want to do it all again next year, and then you want to win all the exhibition games or all the whatever. Like that's that's how you're taught. And then it's like, it's not like you get magically at like in your 30s and you're like, well, it's okay. Like I'll just lose.
It's okay. I got 10.
But the good thing about bodybuilding is losing to quality talent is such an okay thing. Like I'm happy that I'm not happy that I placed third, but the two guys that beat me, holy shit.
Yeah.
You know, like you can lose and be okay with losing based on who you're losing to. That's the kind of cool thing I found about it. Like coming up versus like, I don't ever remember. Well, I guess there's some teams I played when I was younger where you just get smoked by them and you're like, well,
it's also knowing that you brought your best ever.
Yeah. And then that's
part if you came in and you completely shit the bed and you're like, you're going to be mad for sure. No matter what you place, you could win the show and you could,
if you win the show and you're off, that sucks. Yeah. That's the worst.
Yeah.
That's almost like, huh. Well, and that was like, man, when I qualified this year I had to do a regional again because my fucking qualification expired. But like, it was kind of a good thing because it kind of gave me like stage time to like brush off. But dude, I was not in shape. Like I wasn't trying to be either because it was just a local show. I mean, it almost looked like I was doing a guest posing, but it's like, and it was like a pretty easy win and stuff like that. And I had a lot of fun, but it was like, not that I wasn't taking it serious, but I wasn't pushing myself.
Right.
Like I was purposely like 3 or 4 weeks out of where I wanted to be from the nationals to do that show. And I wasn't going to change anything. I was like, I'm just going to do the show, pull a little bit of water, you know? But it's not like the same as like, you know, like you're winning, you look and you're like, oh man, like it definitely wasn't how I would want to show up on stage, but then it's circumstantial. It's like, I'm not going to burn myself out for a regional.
Right.
You know, but and I wasn't purposely trying to show up at 70%, Jason.
Yeah.
But like it's exactly what you mean. Like if you're not 110% on, even if you're winning, you're like, I don't like how I look.
Okay. And then for classic, I kind of took a look and you know, we talked about Florian coming into classic, making his classic debut. So I think he's going to definitely be one of the big voices here. Courage Opara obviously just won Texas, right? Yeah, I think he just won, or Tampa. Sorry, he just won Tampa.
And he's doing it again.
Yeah, and he's hopping right into Texas. Yeah.
Okay.
And back to back.
The guy that Ron Partlow is training, John Lee.
Oh right, Jaws, right?
Yeah. He looks good, man.
Yeah, coming out of Canada.
Yeah,
Canadian.
I'm really thinking that he's gonna and like he looked really good at Chicago.
Yep.
And did he do? I don't know if he did Van. Did
he? He did Vancouver. Yeah, he was top 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, at this point, man, he's got a good shot at really coming together. Just in terms of that, like he only looks like he's been getting better. And I mean, like I said, Ron's coaching him. He's gonna be there. Man, it makes a big difference.
That makes a huge difference
when your coach is there. And it's nothing against any of the coaches. Like it's not like every coach has to be at every show, but like knowing these guys and like you've seen how they've done at other shows, and it's like, oh well, now they're gonna have their coach there. It's like it puts a different sense of safety in the athlete too. I feel like guys sleep better. They're more relaxed. It just seems like they function better, you know? But it just depends. Like, it depends on shape and, like, how he looks compared to other guys in the lineup. Because that's always how it is, right? Like, you know, how does he look in lineup with this guy?
Right.
He definitely needs to bring up his back for sure.
Yeah, from the front,
he's very, very competitive, and from the side, but like, I feel like classic is always the back, man, with a lot of these guys. Like most of these guys are shaped so well from the front overall.
Mm.
It's hard to see a full classic lineup where the front shots are not all competitive.
Yeah. Okay. What about Valentin Petrov? I think I saw his name. He did I thought he
I remember that name, but I can't think of what he looks like.
He just did Tampa, right?
What did he get? Second or third? He was up there.
He had to be in the top something, right?
I
remember people talking about him coming into it. Finished third.
He looks really good. It looks like he's probably fighting with weight cap.
Oh yeah.
Like, well, like, you know what I mean? Like he looks like
he looks big.
It's just the way his
like he had to suck down.
Looks
really
like he had to
hard
make
and
weight.
Tried really hard to fill out.
Yeah, it looks like he had to make weight. Like he doesn't look bad. It just looks like he's a little bit on the flatter side. Like it's not like he missed his peak or anything, but it almost looks like he spent a lot of time trying to make weight more than like filling out. Because he's dry as a house.
Yeah.
Or that doesn't even make sense. He's dry as
a house.
Dry as a house in the summertime without rain.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
in the desert.
He's got ridiculous shape.
Mm-hmm.
There was another guy I saw.
We talked about Florian while you find your other guy.
Yeah.
This guy's freaky.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what he looks like in the classic lineup.
Yeah.
I think Florian will do extremely well, potentially win if he can fill out the way he needs to. Because the big thing with him right now is how much he's had to pull down to make weight.
Yeah.
So then it's just going to be, and like that's the thing. It's like it's always going to be a challenge doing a new class and a new method of dieting. The other thing is too is him and Patrick have been working together for years.
Yeah.
So
he just looks so, I hate to say it, emaciated in some of these shots.
Yeah.
You know,
his neck
like
is just
that
gone.
shot looks great, but some of these shots he just looks like just starved.
Yeah, and then that's just the way it is. Like he just has to be, right? Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of process they had to do to bring him in and like how his body's going to respond. Because the other thing is too, with a guy like Florian depleting for so long, you know, probably a couple days of filling out, man, he might just fucking transform.
I feel like he needs a week to fill out.
No, for sure. But I mean, like even just being so flat for so long, like I think you're gonna see his physique really come to life like that. Like he'll probably get better from prejudging to finals. Like he's just over the week or like over every hour from when he starts eating, he's just gonna get better. Hopefully. So I mean, it's hard to say.
It's gonna be interesting to see.
It's one of those things where it's like it's a new scenario, so they don't even know how it's gonna go. Right? It's not like they've been doing classic shows together for. Yeah, there's a lot of that like question mark stuff, right?
Yeah.
Who else there? It's a lot of names I just don't know.
Yeah, and I feel bad,
but
US
guys.
Yeah, you can't know everyone.
Well, a lot of them are just. Yeah, it seems like they're kind of local to the area or closer to it, and so they're probably there. It seems like a really good show for people in the US to do, like timing wise.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see. There was another guy there.
Yeah, that's my top four.
No, the guy that I was thinking of, it was Valentina.
Yeah, Valentina.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my top four. You got John Lee, Courage.
Valentina looks a lot better from the picture.
As of recent?
Yeah. So it looks like he's improved. It's good. It's good to see how much like all these guys seem to be improving from Tampa based on like obviously people are only post the pictures that look great. But that makes it even better because it's like, are things going to really change in the lineups, or are they like significant? You know what I mean? Like, how's that really going to go?
It's hard to say.
Okay, bikini.
Rolling into bikini. No disrespect.
What's so funny?
Ladies. No disrespect. I would enjoy doing like a complete coverage, but I'd have to bring Abby on, or somebody who can speak to men's physique and then the different women's divisions. Like, this would be a 3-hour podcast.
Yeah.
Which I
honestly,
I'm okay
I can speak more to the women, to the wellness, bikini, women's physique and figure and stuff than I could for men's physique. I don't.
100%. Me too. I'm more interested in bikini than men's physique.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I coach. I have my wife did bikini.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. She was doing it.
I coach other people. Like I had a lot of figure clients. And
stuff. Like my client won her pro card at Toronto for bikini. Yeah, so I was very involved this year, more than I wanted to be, but like I don't it's not that I don't like bikini. It's more just like when you're actually coaching girls doing it and stuff, you're way more involved with it just forces you to be involved in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Seeing who else is getting the posing stuff and all that stuff, and especially going to the shows and going and watching. Yeah. It's hard, man. It's all very difficult. Like, if I'm with bikini, you can improve your package and a girl can go from first to fourth.
Right.
And it's like, what the fuck?
It's like, what are they looking for?
Well, and that's just it, right? It depends on the show, depends on the judges, it depends on you got
depends on who else is there too. Like, when they're comparing them, it's like if 7
you're the
of the
one that
girls
looks
are
like
conditioned as hell, and
you're the fuller rounder,
the actual fuller package, but which they usually like, you're the oddball out.
Yeah, they'll be like,
and then you go to the next show and everyone's fuller and filled out, and and so that's what fits.
Yeah, it's strategy, man. You got to pick the shows, but that's why the girls that do so well, they know what shows to pick, and they work with the coaches. Well, they've been working with the same coaches for years too. Like, that's the other thing too. A lot of the girls, I will say this, that end up doing worse is because they hop around.
Okay.
So not only are they working with different coaches, but they're getting different advices. They're picking different shows. Their package is changing.
Yeah.
And I feel like with bikini, the more consistent you are, the better you have of doing well, because if you start showing up to shows consistent, there's going to be consistent feedback with what you need to improve on.
Right.
And it could be if you're, because if you switch coaches and stuff a lot, I find different coaches will bring different physical looks. Like some these bikini coaches are really big on lots of cardio and not training focus, or the dieting is way more extreme or whatever it may be. And then it's maybe a girl who had actually a good amount of tissue, she doesn't have it anymore. And then it's then they're going to these shows and it's well, you need to put on more muscle. And it's oh, well, I find, if you can stay consistent with that, then it's easier for the judges to give you feedback, because a lot of the girls too, it's posing. They have great physique. They're just presentation is bad.
They can't walk. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's huge, man. You can get so sad to see, especially in the amateur shows, that you see these girls they show up, their hair is on point, their suit, they're ready, and they get on stage and you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Just
It's
wobbling.
I could walk drunk in heels better than you can.
Wow.
Don't ask me if I've done that before.
I would believe you have.
Since you brought it up.
But it's just it's also frustrating too, because it's especially pro shows, it's you're a pro, do you not? And bikini is about you want to look confident, you want to look rehearsed in terms of being able to walk and go through your routine. It's almost showing up like that. It's you almost look stupid. Yeah.
No, there's been times where I've been embarrassed for them. Like,
Right.
you know, you watch them and it's like, man, this person could have placed 5 places higher had they actually just practiced their posing and walking in heels.
Yeah. And I mean, it's incredible when you see the girls that have their walks and everything down to a point and their transitions and stuff. It's really, really amazing. Like how well they look. It's smooth. They're spending the right amount of time in each transition, and they're you know, moving and they're walking. Everything's flowing better. You're actually able to see the highlights of their physique really, really well. And their smile is good. They look pleasant. They look like they want to be on stage. And you're just like, holy shit, like this is fantastic. And then the other girls, it's like some of them look miserable. They look sped up, like they're rushing through things. And it's like, it's the same thing. And I mean, it's no different than bodybuilding. You guys rush their or like guys that are.
I've done it too many times. You know, my adrenaline kicks in and I've screwed that up a couple times.
Yeah. But I mean, you get guys that are like the last in every pose, and you're like, man, it's like literally you start looking at the footage, and it's like
they've already moved on to the next pose.
Yeah, I've had friends, and it's like, man, why are you the last in every shot? And they're like, I don't know, and I'm like, I can't believe it. It's like,
yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So I think the show is looking like it's pretty wide open. You know, it's not like there's a lot set in stone. There's a lot of like question marks of who's going to come in better.
I think Kareth has the 212 lockdown. Not like not crazy lockdown, but confident.
He's got to be the safe choice the person to bet on for sure. And then I'd say Kuklo for the open.
Yeah, that's what I put. I put Steve first, and then you know, debatably, I put Kamal in second with Quinton behind him.
I don't think
he did just beat him, but at the same time, he got beat purely on size.
Yep.
And this is going to be a bunch of big guys, so I'm a little worried for Kamal just because of that. He should have won Tampa.
I thought so.
I was sitting right there. I was there watching it.
Yeah.
And dude, they always say shows are won from the back, and he absolutely destroyed everyone
lights out
in that back double. So I'm watching it, and dude, don't get me wrong, I like Akeem. I like his physique.
Yeah, it's not an anti-Akeem thing.
No critique.
But when they announced Akeem as the winner, dude,
you could hear it from the live stream.
Oh, the audience was not happy.
Yeah.
Nobody was. It was bad.
Yeah.
So, I felt bad for Akeem for that, because like he just won. You know, people should be clapping for him and stuff like that. But yeah,
that's the other thing though too, is like with the bigger lineup in terms of guys. You're gonna see probably like Kluko. I don't know. Maybe he's not going to be in the same realm of conditioning as Quinton or Kamal.
He's looking pretty nuts in his last couple shots.
And yeah, but that's the thing. Like, it's hard to say anything negative against Steve because he's so consistent with his showings over the years that like you're pretty much almost guaranteed that he's going to show up lights out.
Yeah, and
I feel like that's going to be. I feel like it's Steve's show.
He brings last year's Arnold Classic package or better.
Yeah,
it's his show to lose. Him showing up here, it's his show to lose.
It's Steve's show to lose.
I think Kamal and Quinton. Obviously, Kamal is way more mature. He's like got 25 years on Quinton. His conditioning in terms of ethnicity, like he's got that like Middle Eastern skin, and Quinton's got that thicker skin, kind of similar to Akeem. But
Quinton was in way better condition than Akeem. Like, dude, his glutes were dug out.
No. But that's the other part of it too. Like, if Quinton comes into the Texas Pro with improved conditioning, which it looks like he is, with the size to compete against Steve, he might fit into the look that they're going for, and that could push Kamal out. I don't think you're going to see Kamal lose on conditioning.
No.
It's just going to be a matter of like
the issue here is going to be, like you said, there's going to be a lot of big guys. and Kamal is going to kind of be the odd.
I could see Quinton and Kamal 2 or 3, depending on purely prejudging.
Yeah,
how they come out, because like you said, it could be that thing where they come in there and they want to put Quinton up next to Steve.
Yeah.
And then they're going to want to bring in, like who else is like maybe
Andrew Jack.
Like Andrew. It depends. He might be in that first call up because he, like you said, it's you're looking for size and conditioning, and he fits.
Yeah. The thing about Quinton though, Quinton's such a huge frame and he's such a young guy.
Yeah.
He's still got so much more room to grow.
So big, so fresh.
Gaps. He's got a lot
of
you
know what he did? His quads, man. It's his quads. He brought his quads up. Like, that was the biggest thing I noticed. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. And they were peeled too.
Yeah.
But then his lats, his back, you know, like he's got very big, broad shoulders. His arms are good, but then like the chest, the lats, and the back, just that all needs to fill in.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's a second show in a row. I don't think Quinton has done a ton of those like that, but I feel like he's gonna be that much better, man.
Like he's just so tall and such a big frame, but look at the quads.
It's so pretty.
Nuts.
I think you're gonna see his upper body a lot fuller and rounder this show.
I hope so, because I feel like
you got to remember too. You got to remember too, man. He's such a big guy too. Like trying to get that presentation, which they nailed that without overfilling with like digestion, because that's a like big part of it too. So like having this whole week to kind of get back up to where, and Dorian's done a really good job, man, this year with everybody.
I mean, look at his glutes there. He was peeled, dude.
Yeah. I think if he can polish that off and improve, you know, it's gonna,
like you said, if he can come in fuller in the upper body without losing any condition.
Yeah.
And I think he just naturally will. I think that's just, I can't see it not being like that. You know what I mean?
Those quads are just ridiculous, dude.
Because you're just
such a tiny, each quad is bigger than his waist.
Because I think too with Quinton, and it's the same thing we said with like Didoshak and Drobot, coming to the Tampa Pro, there's a lot of fatigue that these guys are managing as well as trying to fill out. So the look that they had at Tampa, there's also a significant amount of fatigue carrying over from the last 6 weeks, not to mention, you know, PED stress internally. You get like another, like, I don't know if these guys are putting shots back in, probably not in the time period that
in a week. Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? So that's
if anything, they might take, maybe they would take one right after the show and then not.
Most likely not the Canadian.
At the most,
you're not traveling with that stuff.
Oh, true. Yeah.
But like, think of just like all the, like, they're coming, like all these guys are coming into the Texas Pro so much more relaxed. So that's like somebody like Quinton with his genetics and shape, having that fatigue, and he's like super carefree. Like having that fatigue out, that's probably going to fill out a lot of his physique and frame as well. Just in general. I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see.
Oh, it will be.
Yeah.
The like 4th to 7th is going to be the most competitive. I feel like there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to like interchange there, just like you said, depending on who can fill out or who comes in what. Yeah, that's exciting, man. These are fun shows.
Yeah, it's still a pretty good lineup for the rest of the year. Definitely some European shows, and we'll see what the rest of the year has. But as it stands right now, I mean, we are over 20 people qualified in men's open.
Yeah, it's getting ridiculous.
Yeah, a lot of people. Only gonna get bigger too.
Is there still that Ronnie Coleman show right after Texas?
I haven't heard anything about it. So I have to look into it, but I know we talked about it last time.
I know Kamal said he was going to do it. That's why that was the first time I had heard about that show in a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Clayhart brought it up when he was on
212. You see the 212 show they're putting on in Vancouver that Ron and them are putting on?
Yeah. I was talking with Corey.
You should rip up and watch that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, him and me, we're talking. I might fly up there next year and commentate.
Oh, do it, man.
So I'm super stoked to see
Corey,
if that'll work out.
Yeah, Corey's Corey's wife, V. When I used to, well, I'm still, so I did railroading for 5 years.
Okay.
And when I had to do with CN Rail, they have an actual campus that they train.
Mm-hmm.
It was out in Winnipeg, and she was living there, and she would like take me to the gym and like all that stuff. So that's how I met him, because they were dating at the time.
Okay.
So then, like fast forward now, he's business partners with Ron and Didoshak at the West Coast Iron at the gym there. Yeah, he's a great guy, Corey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's good people.
It's just fun, so like when I was back with Mutant and stuff, like, and he was working for them and like kind of got him out to Vancouver. Like now that he's like, because we used to film at X Club, which is now West Coast, and it was just kind of like standard gym. But like now that Ron being out there for Vancouver, I walk in, I'm like, oh yeah, Ron's been involved here, because like you got all the pieces of equipment that you want in there. Like there's pictures of guys on the walls now, and like there's the wall of sign.
Nice.
It's such a cool environment up there that they have with that. And like now that they're getting also involved into like creating better, promoting these shows better and stuff, man, it's nice to see. It's just like so much more like that old school vibe into like the competitors that are coming into the sport now with like the big social media thing. It's a different world.
Yeah. No, we were talking about like
what you remember back when it was just bodybuilding, right?
In fitness, bodybuilding and fitness, yeah.
When was your first
show? I've been to Canada since I was like 16. Maybe I ought to look into doing like the Toronto or the Vancouver one year.
Dude, you should come up and do the circuit, man. It's so much fun up at like, because the thing is, a lot of people know you up here.
Yeah, I know a lot of Canadians. Like, I talk to a lot of people up there all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, and hopefully they'll bring 212 back to Toronto next year and Vancouver. That's
hell yeah.
They need to have the full show, you know?
Yep. Oh, that's why the guy who won Toronto, is that why he did Vancouver? I think his name is that he's the one who won 212 and then he hopped into the open?
No, you're talking about at Vancouver, the guy who beat me.
In the 212.
Well, no, in the
there's only
No, not NPC. The wasn't there a 212 pro show in Canada in December?
Nope.
No. Oh, was there one last year?
No, they didn't have 212 at Toronto last year either in December. Did they?
I'm pretty sure there was a Toronto because he won it and then he hopped into the Open this year and placed fourth. It was
you're talking about that. I can't remember his name.
It sounds Arabic, but he's Canadian.
Yeah, did he do that in Vancouver?
The one Tyler won.
Open? Yeah.
Or no, the one Ian won.
No, but he's the 212 guy that competed Open at Vancouver.
That what it is, Vancouver,
year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I know the guy that you're talking about. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. You're correct.
Yeah.
I thought you meant this year 212. I was like,
oh, no. I mean, I guess I didn't put the two together that they didn't have 212 this year.
No, they didn't.
Just so many shows, man. You know. I'm biased towards the Canadian ones.
I'd like to see them put Toronto back at the convention center like it was remember in 2019, Jason, when they had it like at the big convention center.
I wasn't up there.
Oh, you weren't up there?
No.
Paul was on. He was talking about it when he was on the show.
Dude, I haven't been to Canada since I was 16 years old.
That's right. Obviously, you just mentioned
it's been a while. Last time I saw you, was probably
it was Arnold's 2018
at the Arnold. Yeah.
We went to the donut place.
Yeah, we got way too many donuts.
Man, those were phenomenal.
They were good. Oh yeah, that was fun.
That was when you first went up to two. Was it you went down to Classic?
I was in Classic. That was my first Arnold Classic, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was your
2018?
That was 2018. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first Arnold Classic. And
you were and that was your first, like, you were sucking down.
That was actually like my first year as a pro. I turned pro in 2017.
Right.
And I jumped into 2 pro shows right after I turned pro. But the Arnold Classic was like actually my first full year as a pro. That was my first show and my first full year as a pro. And my first time ever having a coach too.
Yeah, with Aceto, right?
Yeah. So yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, you were peeled, dude. I remember.
Yeah, my first ever Arnold Classic, my first actual year as a pro. I got 11th, you know. It was fun, like, because I walk out there and I'm the new kid, you know, and they put me right next to Arash Rabar.
Yeah.
Who had just gotten like second at the Olympia a couple years later. I was like, okay.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Kind of overshadowed me a little bit, but you know, still ended up 11th.
Yeah.
And there was like 40 something guys in the Classic Physique.
It was a big class, man.
It was insane.
Well, and that was after Bumstead's first Olympia.
Yeah,
which was second. Like the first, like that 2017 Olympia was like the first new era Olympia where they had a lot of the newer guys like Arash, Bumstead, and then it's like in 2018 everyone was like, oh yeah, like we want to give this a go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Classic in 2016, man, was just weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't really know what they were looking for.
No. Well, I think about it too, like they had such low weight weight to heights. It was like nearly impossible for anybody. It was more favorable for men's physique guys to move up.
When I turned pro, I had to be 177 pounds.
Yeah, so let me put it
horrible that was to make weight.
Yeah, so like in 2016, the height requirements for my height to do Classic as an amateur was 205. I had to be 205 pounds for my height. Now it's moved up as an amateur to 215. And then you get another 10 pounds as a pro. So like as a pro, I could be 225, 222 as a pro.
Somewhere, yeah.
But like back in 2016, 17, it was like 215 as a pro.
Yeah.
So it's like, and like if I had an extra inch on me, I could probably do Classic. No.
If I had a quarter inch on me, I could have stayed in Classic for another year at least.
Right.
Because they kept measuring me 5'8" on the dot. And if I was 5'8" and a quarter,
yeah, you would have been in that 5'9".
It's another 8 pounds.
Wow. Yeah, you would have been in that 5'9" category.
Yeah.
So since I'm over 5'10", I get into the 5'11". Yeah. But if I was 6 foot, I could do Classic. But
yeah.
If I was younger.
But we're bodybuilders, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah. No, but it's just like the case of Florian where it's like he's able to get down where it's like almost worth it for him to push his shape and stay in Classic.
Yeah.
In terms of like
but
health,
it wasn't easy for him to get down there.
No. But adapting to like, you know, PED usage and stuff like that, once you get down there, it's probably a little bit easier to maintain if you're mentally there.
Yeah. Well, that was my problem is like after every time I would suck down to make weight for Classic show,
you're up 20 pounds.
Within a week after the show, I'm up 25, 30 pounds and still in shape. And I'm like, you know, by the end of my off season, I'm freaking 50 pounds above my stage weight, and I got to suck it all back down again.
You doing all right, bud? Yeah.
So yeah, I had to move up. It was more unhealthy for me to keep making weight for Classic than to just get bigger.
Yeah, right. But like, yeah, you looked a lot better in 212. shape-wise, right?
Oh yeah. Well, that was the craziest thing when I got second place at the New York Pro in 212. I was the same weight as I was at the Olympia in Classic Physique. The difference was Classic Physique, I had to suck down to 192 and then try and fill out back to 200.
Right.
And it wasn't the same look. In New York Pro in 212, I weighed in at like 206 and started carving up and lost weight down to 200 as I carved up. And
yeah, your metabolism
took such a crisp, like hard look at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys get any questions sent to you?
No, I reposted your thing, but I didn't put a Q&A on my story. I thought about it afterwards. I was like, dang, I should have put the Q&A on that repost.
Yeah. That's all right. Yeah, I think we're getting close to that 2 hour. I still need to train tonight, so I'm suffering.
It's almost 10 o'clock here, and I got to be up at 5:30.
Yeah. Well, I've been getting up at 6 to do cardio with my wife. But
here.
yeah, I took yesterday off, so I don't want to take 2 days off in a row.
Yeah, that's unacceptable.
Yeah, for an amateur. Yeah, I didn't get any questions either. Well, shame on everyone watching that they did not send any questions.
Next time I'll put the Q&A on my story as well. I thought about it afterwards, but I was already in the middle of my workout.
Yeah. Well, the last time I did one with Jared Keys and Jared Baderino and Lamar Shaw, what they did was they reposted the picture and then they did a voiceover, like a video talking about like, hey, if you guys want to, check this out, make sure you watch the video. And then before that, they put it out like, hey, make sure you get your questions in if you guys want to, get any insight on stuff. And it was really good feedback. So next time we'll make sure we get some questions.
Yeah, I usually get a lot of questions when I do the story Q&As. So I just forgot to add it to the picture when I posted it.
That's all right. What's next week? What's the pro show next week? I haven't even looked outside Texas. I know the Yamamoto is coming up.
I have no clue.
Let's see here.
So September 10th is the Yamamoto Pro, and then September 24th is the Arnold UK. But I didn't write anything else down outside Texas.
Yeah, so you've got oh yeah, there's that. And then I think you've got the pro figure. That's in the third.
It's all like color coded. You got to find the
so
men's open, because there's some men's open shows and there's some 212 shows and
but you got the Yamamoto in Italy and then the
maybe they got rid of that
classic.
Okay, so maybe there's a couple week break. We should be able to get a lot of podcasts in then.
Tampa.
What's that show in Virginia?
I think that was Ronnie's. Was that Ronnie's show?
Michelle.
It says the Ben Weeder Pro Am.
That's the natural one. The natural show.
It doesn't say that on the list. That's messed up.
You can get some juicy boys rolling in.
It is though. It's like the natural pro qualifier or the natural pro show.
Yeah, so I remember it last year.
That's the one that Ron's putting on, not this one that I said about France. Like that's not on the list.
Ron. Yeah, it says Ron Hash on there.
It was on the list, but
Ron Hash is doing France as well. It's right under that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So there is a France one then.
Yeah, they're right after one. I'm confused. It says they're on the same freaking day.
So they probably are.
One's in Virginia, one's in France.
Ron will be in France.
Yeah, busy guy.
Yeah, the Virginia one, my friend did that last year. She did the bikini, like it's a drug tested show.
Right.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think that's great because, like we never starting out when I was a kid, my first show I did was with Greg Doucette. as a provincial show. Like 19, and Greg, that was the year Greg won his pro card.
Yeah.
But it was like you got thrown into, like, if you wanted to compete, it was like bodybuilding, and there was no rules, obviously.
Yeah.
So there was never really an option that if you're like, now there's a lot of younger guys now that are still natural that want to get into competing, but they want to just get into doing shows, right? Like they don't want to jump into PEDs. And I think that that's fantastic. I think it's good to have that route open for guys who were either younger or just want to take their time. And like that's how Quinton got his pro card. He did the natural shows, and then he won the natural.
I would always suggest somebody do a show natural before they start any PEDs.
Yeah. Because Jason, you turned pro, right? As a natty?
Yeah. I mean, sort of.
Kind of.
I mean, like I had tried a couple SARMs. That was about it. Yeah. I don't technically say it was 100% natural because people will like come at you for that. But I had never taken any like real PEDs or anything. No testosterone.
Right.
Nothing like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, what does that even mean anymore? And even when I'm saying like these natural shows, like these drug tested shows, like you don't really know who's been taking stuff and came off of it in time.
Right. Yeah. It's not lifetime natural.
They're not testing your hair.
80% of the people that are showing up to those shows are probably pretty well damn near natural.
Yeah.
And
they're
at least be able to pass the test. And it's like, if that's the rule that you need to pass the drug test and you can pass it, then.
Well, so for the organization I compete in, they only do a urinalysis for the top 3, top 2, because I placed top 3 at my last show.
That's even more than they do at the amateur level. They just test the winners.
Oh, the winners. Okay.
Yeah, because it's like it's so expensive.
It is.
Man.
It is.
And then they do
I had a
polygraph.
figure client that actually I turned her pro, and she did her first pro show. And when she turned pro, she won her class, and then I think she lost the overall.
Mm-hmm.
And
the overall winner
they came to her a couple weeks later. They called her and they're like, "Hey, we owe you the overall trophy." The other girl failed her drug test, and then when she went back the next year and did her pro debut at the same show, they did a whole thing for her, gave her the year before his overall trophy and everything like that. That was pretty cool.
But that's the other part of it too. Like that's the other good part about the natural shows and the natural road is if you fail your drug test, they fuck you. They ban you for 2 years. You'll get a 2-year ban from competing. And trust me, like judges and stuff like that, pay attention to that shit. If you go to a show and you say you're natural and then you fail the drug test, because we're not in the organization where it's all drug tested, where you're trying to sneak around because there is
don't do the drug tested.
Just don't do the drug tested shows. If you're taking stuff, there's thousands or there's hundreds of shows.
Honestly, even if you went to a drug tested show and you won and you got away with it, you gotta feel pretty pathetic if you had to be taking a bunch of shit to win against a bunch of people that aren't taking stuff.
And here in Canada too, which I like with the amateur scene, is a lot of like all the good coaches in all the areas that are dealing with a lot of the clients. Everybody has that integrity where it's like, I know a lot of guys that they found out their clients are doing stuff and they'll just drop them. They'll be like, look, like I can't, like I don't want to go to a show, a national level drug tested show, and you fail a fucking drug test, and then everyone say, oh yeah, fucking so and so's client. He probably fuck that, man. That's your business. Yeah.
Well, like the girl that got busted, that beat my client for the overall. Who knows what the true story is? But the first thing she said was, "Oh yeah, well my coach had me taking this thing that I didn't know." Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. How do you just not know? Like,
but it's like, and then that's the whole thing. It's like one of those things where there's so many other options to not do a drug tested show that it's like almost like really.
Yeah.
You have to seek out a drug tested show.
Yeah.
Like,
you got to plan for it.
Yeah. No, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You guys want to plug your affiliates and sponsors, and then sure, Jason's hungry. I haven't seen him eat yet.
Oh, I was eating this whole time.
Oh, were you?
My wife brought me in a plate full of chicken and sweet potatoes. So.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, no, I mean my only sponsors, I got Iron Rebel right here. And then I got Fuel Meals, which has been a freaking godsend supplying me with all my food.
Nice.
So yeah, code BROKU for anyone that wants to get anything from those guys.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite meal from them?
Dude, I buy the meat by the pound.
Oh, nice.
But like the salmon is just so it's just perfectly cooked. But I've tried a couple of their actual meals that they make, and they're really good. But obviously, with our lifestyle,
you're just trying to
usually I got a flank steak, chicken, salmon. But then I do have a couple of the meals over here that there's a buffalo chicken pizza there and stuff like that.
I'd kill from just some well cooked chicken. I've been thinking about doing like
chicken
air fryer.
Air fryer.
I did do the air fryer last night, and it turned out okay.
No joke. I was eating so much chicken, and it was like getting hard to eat.
Yeah.
And when I started getting with Fuel Meals, it's like the most juicy, tender chicken ever. And I'm like, dude, I could eat half a pound of this in every meal. Just easy. It just goes down simple. And before I was like, I must have been overcooking all my chicken because it was it was hard to get down.
I find it's better in the air fryer if you put it in kind of out of the freezer because you have that moisture in there.
Right.
When you put it in there, like versus if it's just like standard raw, because if you put it in there raw, like you don't have that moisture in there, and then it just like it'll overcook half of it.
Dude, I'll tell you too, my new air fryer has a roast setting instead
of roast.
That's the roast setting is where it's at.
That's the that's what I was gonna say. I've got the Ninja, the dual tray.
Yeah, me too.
Oh wow.
So I'll put it in like what I'll do with it's frozen. Like I'll put like if I pull it out of the freezer like even the night before or even right away, I'll put it in on roast for like 15 minutes high, and then once it's like kind of like de-thawed and cooked a bit, like because the roast kind of roasts it, then I'll put it on air fry for like 5 or 6 minutes just to kind of like finish it off.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the Ninja Man is great. I love it because you can do 2 things at once.
You have chicken on one side and some potatoes on the other or something.
Yeah.
Or your vegetables or whatever.
Right.
That'd
I'm a
be
big
nice.
fan of it, man.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. I'll have to look into it. Yeah, I have like just a generic air fryer, but it's been good when I use
years. And then it finally like was just like the paint on the inside was flaking off and getting.
That's what mine's at right now.
So I was like, all right, it's time to upgrade, and I know I'm going to use this all the time, so I'm going to actually get a good one. And that dual Ninja is freaking. Where it's
if I don't do that, I'll bake it, man. Like I'll put them in frozen into the
tin foil and.
Yeah, because I find like kind of does it like the roast, like it's just all the moisture and
keeps
stuff.
It more moist.
Yeah, and then you can pull it out, and it's
okay.
I don't know, the pan fried chicken, man, just doesn't do it for me.
The only way I'll do it in pan fried is if I cut it up into like little nuggets.
Yeah, you got to really cut it up,
and then throw it in there, and then you're eating more like it's like little pan fried nuggets.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have any sponsors, so.
No affiliates, no sponsors.
No. All right. I mean, I do have Bombshell. Like she does my tanning at like the shows, and she's like LSR. That's how me and Jenna. Remember Jason?
Yeah.
That's how we met. Yeah, she helps
in that freezing ass garage in the middle of winter. Oh my god.
Yeah,
that was brutal, but it was a good tan.
Yeah, shout out to Jenna though. Yeah, she always takes care of me at all my shows for the color and stuff. It makes a big difference, man, when you have somebody, taking care of your color like that at a show. The one thing you don't want to have mess up.
Yeah, my very first show ever, I had like a little bit of like light skin showing in the bottom of my classic shorts, and I hated it.
Yeah, man. I've been doing like Milano tan. I did Milano tan and then actual tanning. I just try and get so dark as much as I can before I go. I find it helps my color significantly.
I show up pale as hell. I'm like the whitest guy in Florida. I just like show up.
Yeah, lives in Florida.
Yeah.
I'm getting more of a tan now that I got that dog though.
Yeah, because you're always doing those bridge walks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You'll be out now.
I'm just working on the computer most of the day. I go to the gym and I'll train some clients like early in the morning, and I come home and I work on the computer. Now I got the dog that wants to go out every freaking 10 minutes.
Yep.
I had to add an extra meal to my plan just because of how much extra cardio I'm getting.
Dang.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm trying to from 6 meals to 7 just because of the pup.
7? Yeah. They're trying to get up to 5 right now. I'm slacking. Like, not doing good. We'll get there though.
Yeah.
Slow and steady.
It's been nice actually keeping all the meals like so clean and like on point that like I don't really even crave anything. You know,
no, because you're
weird for me. Really weird for me.
Yeah.
Every now and then I'm just lazy, and so I'm like, God, a burger would be good tonight just because I don't feel like cooking anything. But it's not even that I'm craving the food. So that's why my last order of fuel meals, I ordered a few. They do bison burger patties too. So I'm like, I'll just keep some of these in the fridge just for when I'm having those lazy days.
Yeah.
Just toss those in the microwave and we're good to go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, bison, man. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of stuff up here you can get. A lot of the guys up here hunt, so you can get a few guys can get some moose meat or some deer. Oh man, moose is so good up here. I don't know if you guys
I've never had moose.
Dude, I hit, oh my gosh, last year at work. So Josh, like I'm a locomotive conductor and engineer.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. I'm not working currently, but so last year the job I was on, we went up to the job was basically you take lumber cars up to a lumber mill.
Yeah.
They already had some in there loaded, so you'd pull them out, put the loaded ones off into a truck, and then you shove in the empty ones, and then you go back. But you're kind of going like into the woods. Man, there was this like cow and this like bull, and they were like on the tracks. And when we came up to them, like kind of scared them a little bit, but we were going like 50 mile an hour.
Yeah.
And we had a 4-axle locomotive, which is like not the road power ones, like the big freight ones.
Yeah.
And we hit them both. It was the most gruesome thing. And I'm like sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, oh man. Boom. The bull's like shattered. It was like instant mayhem. The cow, like the female, she went like flying off into the woods, and then the bull went under the train. So and we were worried about, because like all the couplings and like all the air hoses, like if they catch them, they'll dump the train, and then I gotta fucking walk out and go check. So, but the thing is, when we got up to our destination, I've got to like go back and secure all the cars.
Yeah.
Dude, it was fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The further up, like, because the further up I went on the lumber cars, it was just like bloodier and messier. And when I got to the front, man, I was almost puking because it was just like there was guts everywhere. I had to get like plastic bags because there was like on the air like handles and stuff. There was like and then like the whole time we were doing our work up there, it was just like the underneath of the locomotive stand. I was like, put my flashlight. I was just like, oh man, it was just like guts and blood and like.
Yeah,
it was so gruesome, man. But it was just like, yeah. By the time when we got back, like, we like told the guys, like, yeah, somebody's gonna want to fucking like clean that shit off because there's blood and guts. And like,
who wants this job?
You'd often get in, you'd often get in, and like some of the freights would like hit stuff, right? Like on the way or whatever, and they'd be like, there's some pretty nasty animal. Killed a lot of deer.
Yeah.
So stupid, man.
I'm from Wisconsin, so I'm used to that.
Scared and like jump into the train. They're like, what are you doing?
Well, yeah, that's the same thing with like deer. Like they just get scared and jump right back into the road. Then you just smack them with your truck, and it's just missed.
But yeah, man, the moose, that was not, and you could just, it was just like, just waiting for the train to go into emergency. Yeah, gruesome, man. And just the smell. I don't know if I'll ever forget the smell, man.
His burnt flesh and hair and
and then like good, after a couple hours, like it starts to rot, right? So like it was getting like awful. And when we went back, man, like we went back the other way, right? We like saw where we hit them, and it was just like it's just like And then the next trip, the next day, it was all gone. Like wolf, like coyotes just got into
licked everything down. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah, good times.
All right, guys. I think I need to pass out.
Good way to end it.
I'm gonna take this guy out for a big walk and.
All right. Appreciate you guys hopping in. Man. Absolutely. My pleasure. It was good talk. Jason, as always, appreciate you, man.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll have this edited over lunch tomorrow, and then I'll have it up before shit, man. Because 212 comes on tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. I'll have to stay up then.
Oh shit. Don't miss the gym.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking like, oh, maybe I can just get away. No. I only just stopped the recording.